Have you started creating a healthy marriage? Have you made your home safe so far for your spouse? Because I started a series talking about how to create a healthy marriage, and what led to that was as a result of a study, and then I encountered a revelation in the book of Matthew, which you can also find in Mark and also in Luke, where the Bible was talking about the parable of the seed sower. Some fell on the path, some fell on the road, some fell on the good soil among the thorns. And then I figured out that even the journey of marriage it requires effort, it requires intentionality, it requires nutrient. And what are the nutrients? And that was why I started the series talking about how to create it. Then if you've not seen any video on this series, please hurry up, check through the first video I released. And then the second video I talked about, okay, the first video I spoke about the marital satisfaction. I'm just trying to carry you along in case you're joining for the first time. Oh, my name is Odran, your blessing, and it is my delight to actually bring this to you. Yes, because I know that freely is giving and freely we receive and freely shall we give too. So now I spoke about the four stages of marital satisfaction, which is the first one, enchantment stage, obligation stage, and then we move to disillusion, obligation, and then the more matured love. Yes, we have four stages, and from there we talked about the toxic pattern, which later led us to the sixth great habit of great marriage. And we've spoken about the first one, which is self-responsibility. The second one, which is honoring your spouse. Yes, honor your spouse. And then the third one, we spoke about the gift of friendship in marriage, which is something no one can compromise on. Yes. And then the fourth one we want to talk about as the great habit or habit that makes a great marriage. It's going to be communication. Yes, communication. Like I said, even as a child, or even anywhere that you might have find yourself, to establish a relationship, it always starts with communication. And in this, I'm going to be telling you that when we're talking about communication, we're talking about you being ready to be vulnerable with your partner, talking to them with honesty and even with vulnerability, placing their needs above yours, and also including empathy in your communication. So before I give a summary of what I'm going to be saying today, I would love to start from the first thing. I already said communication is a two-way thing. Yes, you're talking to your partner, you're talking to your spouse. Even with our children, we talk to them. But now we have four different styles of communication. Yes, we have four styles of communication, which I want you to know, and I want you to be able to differentiate the kind of communication you are using with your spouse. In case your spouse has been complaining that, oh, we don't communicate well in the house, we don't do this well in the house, it means something is missing, and it means it's high time you work on that. And also make sure that you're communicating effectively with your spouse. Now, the first, I said we're going to talk about the first styles of communication. The first style of communication that we have is the dominate. In every communication, I want you to know that you can actually have a concern for others, and you can have concern for yourself. When you have concern for yourself, that kind of communication is filled with empathy. But when you have concern for others, that kind of communication is filled with assertiveness. Now, I said we have four styles of communication. We have the dominate, we have the avoid, we have the collaborate, and then we have the last one, which is accommodate. First house of communication. Now, for dominate, you should already know that this particular person will assert his or her own needs in every communication. They don't care about what their partner's needs is. They just want you to listen to them and listen to their opinion, and just their opinion alone. And for the second styles of communication that we have, which is avoid, these ones they can these ones There are this kind of people, they suppress their own feelings, like from the name avoid. They don't want their feelings. They can suppress their feelings just for for them to listen to your own feelings, and they'll still keep their own. They avoid a vulnerable communication. They avoid revealing the weakest or their weaknesses. Yes, they avoid it. And then I said we have the collaborate. You see, for this collaborate, they are this kind of people that they assert their own needs, they make their own needs known, and still they are able to, accept or feel the needs of others. Yes, they assert their own needs and also show empathy for others. But the best styles of communication that I would actually recommend for every family is collaborate. Yes, I said we have the four styles. Now, the fourth style, which is collaborate, is advisable for every couple to actually work with the styles of communication. You see, this accommodates, they put the needs, the opinions, and the feelings of others above theirs. Yes, they are able to accept the opinions, the needs, the everything, the feelings of others. They are able to accept it and also place it above their own needs. That's what accommodates is. And then if we have a marriage that has two couples, yes, two partners that accommodate each other, yes, they exercise this accommodate styles of communication. Now come to think about it, if I as a wife am able to, accept and empathize, place my husband's feelings above his, and he also is able to do same for me. So we should be on the same page, because at the end of it all, we both are looking out for each other, which is going to actually create a safe space for home. Now from there, I'm going to move to us having, I said this is styles. Now we're going to have the four patterns again of communication. That is, I'm going to be combining each of those styles of communication together. We have the first thing I spoke about was the four styles of communication. Now we're talking about patterns of communication which are unhealthy, yes, to have in marriage. It's going to be one, the avoiding and avoiding. Imagine having two partners that are both avoiding in communication. In marriage, suppressing their feelings. Definitely the both of them are going to feel unseen and unheard, and thereby go outside and look for someone to confide in. They'll feel like they are undervalued in their home. And now the second patterns of communication is dominating and avoiding. Imagine one asserting his own feelings and the other suppressing the feelings for others. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I really think that at this junction you should try and look into yourself, look deeply, look inward deeply, and see what styles or patterns of communication you exercise in your home. Now, if your partner is this dominating or avoiding, you need to sit down and talk about it. Yes, communication solves a lot of things. Even when it comes to God, we still need to talk to God. Yes, and our mode of communicating with God is through prayers. Now, the third styles of communication or third patterns of communication that we have can also be dominating and accommodating. Dominating and accommodating. One is this kind of person that put the feelings, the opinions, the needs of the partner over her own, while the other can also be this person that assert his or her own needs. Now, what is the best pattern of communication that is advisable? Even you should know from what I've said. I believe is to be accommodating and accommodating. Both partners accommodating each other. Yes, having how do I put it, putting the opinions, the needs, and the feelings of your spouses above your own. Yes, even when you are communicating. And if I say when you are communicating, I mean there are ways to go about this. Becoming vulnerable, that will lead us to talking about becoming vulnerable. And what does becoming vulnerable means? Vulnerability is something that everybody avoids in marriage, probably due to past or due to experiences while growing up, or even it can be due to your nature, you're just this kind of independent person. But I want you to know that even being independent does not limit you or does not stop you from being vulnerable. What does vulnerability mean? It means you not being scared of letting your weakness known to your spouse. Yes, to your spouse, the willingness to expose the softer side of you. I want you to know that vulnerability is the glue that holds every um relationship intimacy together. Do you know that vulnerability listening helps the home to blossom? It helps the individual to blossom. But when you don't engage in vulnerability listening, that is when you let your partner feel less of themselves, when you let them feel rejected, then they begin to wither. Yes, the communication standard in the home begin to wither. The intimacy between you and your spouse begin to wither. But when you engage in vulnerability listening, it brings about acceptance in the home and thereby resulting into blossom. Yes, it makes both the spouses to blossom because there is this way that everybody wants to feel safe. I've talked about that, and the only way to feel safe, I mean, one of the ways to feel safe with your spouse is to engage in vulnerability communication and also engage in vulnerability listening. Now, I'm going to move to talking about being a good listener. Being a good listener means that you let go of judgment. Yes, you let go of all those thoughts, already processed thought about a particular person. You let go of your home feelings over what you listen to what they are saying. Yes, most times it's not really the expressed anger that is the issue. There's a way spouse, your partner can express their anger and you feel like they attack you. Yes, you feel attacked. And I'm not seeing the anger itself as the problem. I'm seeing the problem as their emotions that is being dismissed, their feelings that is being dismissed, and also the way they didn't feel heard. Yes, the feelings of fears, the feelings of hurt, the feelings of being left alone. Yes, the loneliness. Those are the things that you need to understand the next time you have a communication with your spouse. Now let me tell us or try to enlighten us on how to listen when we are having a conversation with our spouse. The first thing is, or let me to tell you about what poor listening habits, what they result into, or poor listening responses. We have the first one to be when you ignore when you formulate your response. You are this kind of person that ignore your spouse or you already formulated your responses. You argue or you judge. Your partner has not even landed on what they want to say. You already know where they are going, and of course you've prepared your responses. You know that you want to judge them, and you also know that you want to lecture them or moralize them. They are not talking to you so that you will actually give them more morals or give them more values. Yes, in vulnerability listening, you don't do all of this. You don't lecture, you don't criticize, you don't give advice. Yes, you don't give advice, you don't sympathize. In vulnerability listening, you empathize, and also you don't rescue, or you try to that kind of, I'm telling you something and all you want to do is just you're looking for a solution for the whole thing. Sometimes all we want you to do is just to listen without providing solution, without judging. Just listen with empathy, give a hug. And then what are the two main arms that when you don't like poor responses? Yes, the two main arms of poor listening responses is that it invalidates the feelings of your spouses, and also it makes it unsafe for your spouse to talk so close and to talk to you, and also it close down communication in the home. Yes, when you don't engage, that's why you see that most ladies they'll say, I don't talk to my spouse, so he does not know how to anything. You just say, okay, God will comfort you, or they just say, she what they don't really know how to do to listen. Why? Because they've not learned it. Yes, everything is learned. Yes, and when you want to learn all of this, it takes being intentional about your spouse, understanding that this is a marriage that you want to work, and of course you need to learn how to listen without lecturing, without moralizing your partner, without judging, without arguing, without questioning, without having a prepared responses for whatever discussion you want to have with your spouse. Now, so far we've talked about communication, how to establish the various styles of communication, the various pattern of communication, the appropriate and recommended pattern of communication that is required in marriage, which is accommodating to accommodating. And how do we achieve that? We talked about vulnerable listening, we talked about vulnerable communication, and what we explained what vulnerability means. And from there, we actually spoke about um, how to achieve, yes, how to listen, that is the poor listening responses that we have. We also talked about the main arms of poor listening. What will it do? It brings about withering because the other person will feel rejected. But when you listen with empathy, when you listen with vulnerability, there is a way that it helps your partner blossom. It brings about acceptance. Now what we are going to talk about is guidelines to develop great connection through listening. What are the guidelines that you need to develop? One, you need to be totally present. Please don't be distracted whenever you're having a conversation with your spouse. I know the mind can actually move everywhere. Just like even when we are praying, we are trying to communicate with our Father. There is a way that you start thinking about the clothes you've not washed, how you're going to plan tomorrow, everything. Just be present in order for you. If you are not present, you won't be able to go through the steps there, the guideline, which is trying to say what they said, that is reiterating what they said, explaining over and over again just to ensure that they believe you're following them. And also have a non-judgmental mindset when you're listening to your spouse, when you want to communicate with them. Have a non-judgmental mindset. It's easy to judge our partner because we feel like we know them. So even when the issue has not gotten to the point of view, you can easily tell them that shebi wallow shaking it on, I know you would do this, I know you can do this. Don't listen with a judgmental mindset just because you've known them. Even if they are right or they are not right, don't be judgmental. And also, you can hear the meaning. Yes, hear the meaning behind every conversation you have with your spouse. Sometimes they might just need you to sit down with them to actually feel, connected with you. If that's all they want, let them have it. If it's just to sit and touch that they want, let them have it. If they miss you, sense exactly what they are communicating through the communication that you're having. Whenever you're talking, sense the meaning. And also ask clarifying questions. Anything you don't understand, don't assume you understand it. When you're communicating, when you're listening, don't assume you understand anything. Don't assume you understand anything. And I said restate what you are hearing. That's why I said you should listen without distraction. So if you listen without distraction, you'll be able to restate what you've heard. So lastly, under guidelines to establishing a great communication in the home is that it's okay to be to not respond. It's okay to be silent in every, it's not in every, should I say, when you're having a conversation with your partner, it's okay to not know what to say, but it's better for you to listen. Yes, so you can listen and not always be responsive. Yes, wanting to say something over and over again. If not, you're going to end up saying rubbish, what exactly your partner does not imply or what they don't mean. So this brings us to the end of the fourth um, habit of a great marriage, of creating a great marriage. And I believe that if you follow the series, you're going to definitely have a change in any pattern that is actually toxic in your home. So I would admonish you to please check out other videos on this channel, most especially where the series began. You're going to definitely be blessed by one or two things in Jesus' name. It's certain. And I pray with you that whatever is the issue in your home, be it communication, as you put in effort to intentionally learn, unlearn, and relearn some habits, may God make it easy for you and also bless you with a great spouse and change the mindset of both you and your spouse in order to achieve a great marriage in Jesus' name. You won't get tired, you won't get weary, and the love of God will bind us together more in Jesus' name. Thank you so much for watching. In the next episode, where we'll be talking about the fifth great habit that makes a great marriage, we're going to be talking about the conflict model, how to resolve conflicts in the home. It's needed because definitely conflict will occur over and over again, but the rate at which of the way we undo and resolve it is how a great marriage is being built. Thank you for watching. I remain Audra, your blessing, your favorite girl. If you've not subscribed to the channel, please do well to quickly hit the subscribe button, like, share, and drop a comment. Let me know which part of this video has blessed you. I am so grateful for watching, and I pray that even my home will not fail the mandate of God. It will be among the best. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And sure to take care of yourself, and I love you. Bye.